My name is Ann-Sophie and I'm the person behind Sewing with Solana, and I thought maybe it's time to introduce myself again to you and tell you a bit how I ended up moving to Australia and how I started Sewing with Solana. So let's start at the very beginning. After high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I only knew that I didn't want to go to uni, so I became a flight attendant a bit spontaneously. It was never my dream, but I ended up going to a casting and became a flight attendant. And after 1 or 2 years, I moved to Barcelona. Best decision I've ever made. I've never been to Barcelona before, didn't speak Spanish, didn't know anyone there, but I just wanted to get out of Germany for a little while, and 3 months then turned into 5 or 6 years. But let me tell you now how I started sewing. So it was 2020, lockdown hit. I decided to go back to Germany for a couple of weeks just because it was a really uncertain time. And I was stuck at home, had nothing to do. I was like, okay, I need to find a hobby. So I got my mom's old sewing machine out and started sewing and haven't stopped since. And then I went back to Barcelona again, and that's when my parents gifted me my first own sewing machine. And then being back in Barcelona, I had so much fun exploring all the different fabric stores, learning more about fabrics, learning more about pattern making, and just designing my own pieces. And then I started dreaming about maybe having my own made to order clothing brand. So eventually I started Solana Handmade, where I was sewing all the pieces. I was doing the marketing, social media, the website, picking the orders. I was doing everything. And for the first year, I was a flight attendant and then had Solana Handmade on the side. But within 1 year, it grew enough that I was able to quit my flight attendant job and do Solana Handmade full time, which was a dream come true. And now we need to fast forward a couple of years again, and I had to make one of the hardest decisions of my life, and that was to either stay in Barcelona or to move to Australia. So I met Darcy in 2019, and he's Australian, but he was working in Barcelona, and that's how we met. And then I made the decision after lots of back and forth to pack my life together, move to Australia. And I was, if I'm being honest, really, really scared because Solana Handmade was my baby. And I was so scared moving so far away. I knew I had to put it on hold for a little while. All my customers were in Europe, not all of them, but most of them, and just finding fabric suppliers again, and everything is so much more expensive here. So I was really worried what would happen to my brand. And then I started a separate Instagram account until I could start the brand again, Sewing with Solana, because I thought I have so many sewing patterns that are from old designs that I wouldn't maybe include into the next collection. So I thought, why don't I teach others how to sew my old designs and also just share my love of sewing and maybe inspire a few other women around the world to also pick up a new hobby and to, yeah, see how much fun it is to make your own clothes. So exactly 2 years ago, I uploaded my first ever sewing tutorial on YouTube, and now there's over 60 sewing tutorials, over 30 sewing patterns that I've released. And it is an absolute dream come true getting to inspire so many women all around the world to sew their own clothes. So thank you for being here.